Joanna Duggar just shared something that has longtime fans of the family talking. On her sister's podcast, she looked back on her relationship with husband Austin Forsyth and delivered a line that stopped people in their tracks. She would have married him from day one. The 28-year-old also opened up about the 4-year age gap between them, how young they both were when feelings first started, and what it has been like building a life together after saying "I do" at just 19. For a family that has lived so much of its story in public, these kinds of honest reflections still feel rare. Stick around, because the details she shared paint a fuller picture of how their path to marriage unfolded and why it still resonates years later. The Duggar family first became a household name through the TLC series 19 Kids and Counting, which followed Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar as they raised their large family in Arkansas under a strict conservative Christian lifestyle. Viewers watched the children grow up on camera, navigate courtships, and start families of their own. Joanna, the ninth of the 19 children, was one of the younger siblings who later appeared on the spin-off Counting On. Like several of her sisters, she entered a formal courtship rather than traditional dating, and her relationship with Austin Forsyth played out in front of cameras. The couple married in May 2017 in a televised ceremony. Since then they have largely stepped back from the spotlight while raising their 3 children. That history makes Joanna's recent comments especially interesting. She appeared on the Duggar and Jeremy podcast hosted by her sister Duggar Duggar Vuolo and brother-in-law Jeremy Vuolo. There she walked through the early years of knowing Austin and how the age difference between them has been viewed over time. Joanna explained that she and Austin first crossed paths when she was only 4 years old and he was 8. His family had moved up from Texas and visited the church the Duggars attended. After that early meeting, the two families did not see each other regularly for a while. Things changed once Austin got his driver's license and began playing football and broomball with Joanna's brothers. Those sports connections brought him around more often. By the time Joanna was 14 and Austin was 18, she admitted she was crushing hard on him. They did not begin an official relationship right away. According to Joanna, they started dating just before she turned 18. A short courtship followed, and they married in May 2017 when she was 19 and he was 23. Looking back on that timeline, she was clear about her feelings. "I would have married him from day one," she told her sister. She also reflected on how idealistic she felt during the engagement period. She said she did not think past the idea of having a farmhouse and living happily ever after. She believed he was the one and that everything would work out fine. Marriage, she added, brought surprises and required growth and communication from both of them. Duggar offered her own perspective during the conversation. She noted that while she and Jeremy have a larger age gap of about 6.5 years, Joanna and Austin's 4-year difference felt more significant at the time simply because Joanna was so young when they began dating and got married. Duggar said she always thinks of the couple as further apart in age than they actually are for that reason. Since their wedding, Joanna and Austin have welcomed 3 children, son Gideon, now 8, daughter Evelyn, 5, and son Gunnar, 3. The family also experienced the heartbreaking loss of a daughter, Annabelle, who was stillborn at 20 weeks in 2019. Joanna has spoken previously about that difficult time and the support she received from her family. These recent comments on the podcast mark one of the more detailed looks Joanna has given into the early stages of her relationship and how she views the age gap looking back nearly a decade later. The discussion stayed grounded in her own words and experiences rather than outside speculation. It also highlighted how the couple's long history of knowing each other through family and church connections shaped their decision to marry young. For many viewers who followed the courtship on Counting On, hearing Joanna describe her teenage crush and her certainty that Austin was the one adds a personal layer to the story that was only partly visible on television at the time. The age gap itself is modest by many standards, yet the fact that she was still a teenager when they wed has always drawn attention. Her willingness to address it directly, without defensiveness, gives a clearer sense of how she and Austin have navigated that aspect of their relationship as adults and parents. Public reaction to the podcast comments has been largely reflective. Many longtime Duggar watchers expressed appreciation for Joanna's openness about marrying young and the idealistic expectations she held at the time. Some noted that her admission about the surprises that came with real marriage felt relatable. Others focused on the early crush she described at age 14, viewing it through the lens of the family's conservative upbringing and the delayed start of their formal relationship. Media coverage from outlets that regularly follow the family treated the remarks as a straightforward update rather than a major controversy. A few social media users pointed out the contrast between the 4-year gap and the larger difference in Duggar and Jeremy's marriage, echoing Duggar's own observation that timing and age at the start of the relationship can make the numbers feel different. Overall, the conversation has stayed measured, with most comments centering on the couple's longevity and the 3 children they are raising together rather than rehashing old debates about the family's courtship practices. Looking ahead, there are no major public announcements tied to these comments. Joanna and Austin continue to keep a relatively low profile compared with some of her siblings, focusing on family life. Occasional appearances on Duggar and Jeremy's podcast have become one of the main ways she shares updates, so future episodes may offer more personal reflections if she chooses to return. Fans will likely keep an eye on any further conversations about parenting or marriage as the children grow older. Joanna's decision to speak candidly about meeting Austin as a young child, developing a crush years later, and marrying him at 19 offers a fuller picture of a relationship that many first saw through the filtered lens of reality television. Her statement that she would have married him from day one, paired with the acknowledgement that marriage required unexpected growth, captures both the certainty she felt and the realism she has gained. The 4-year age gap, while modest, carried extra weight because of how young they were at the start. Combined with the life they have built since, including 3 living children and the memory of the daughter they lost, these comments serve as a quiet reminder of how much has changed since their wedding day. What are your thoughts on this latest Duggar family update? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Duggar family update.